Boros Deather deck.
How have you enjoyed the London Mulligan?
Get back to me on that
Okay, well,
later in the night. We'll segue into that a little later in the night. I don't want to start off with that.
if you want to make like a set list and we'll like go through like what the topics are going to be,
See,
I would love to because this happens on a almost weekly basis.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make set lists.
Fantastic. Just do you want to shoot it to me in the group chat before we get here, or do you want to sit down face to face before the show?
Oh, do you have input on what these set lists should be?
I know you don't care about my input.
I care about your input.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I like
Don't lie to
talking
me.
about the topics you want to talk about, just not necessarily when you want to talk about them. So here's the thing.
All right, no, let's just bring something up. What do you want to
So
talk about?
my opinions
I
on the
had a-
London Mulligan is great. I've only had a chance to really use it in casual formats, but it kind of segues into this fact that I don't have anywhere to play competitive Magic right now, and that's kind of depressing. And I don't want to start the stream off on a bad
On a
note.
sad note? Okay.
So that's why I wanted to say it later.
I
But
was
yeah,
just segueing into like him looking at 7. It just seemed
no, it seemed like a natural segue. I understand, but it just a little bit of a landmine.
my bad. I'll run a zigzag
Yeah, just
next
zigzag.
time, and that way we'll avoid the landmines.
Zigzagging avoids bullets, not landmines.
How do you avoid landmines?
You don't.
You
that's
don't.
that's the point of the landmine.
That's the point of the landmine. All right, here we are with the temple and the scry.
Long strides.
Long straight, sure, less
The less ground you touch during your
your
journey
advance, yeah.
would be the best way to. But I mean, that's not good. Like you're still probably gonna die to a landmine.
Sure.
Zigzagging, you're probably still gonna die to a bullet. It just gives you your best shot.
Right. The old Arcanist.
Eric wisely playing around the shock that Luke represented. This Arcanist is really good for that. But playing the Arcanist now leaves him open to a turn 3 to Fairy, unless he has a haste creature that he sandbagged there, which he may have.
Sure.
This is how you need to play around 3 mana to Fairy. An incredible Magic card,
Okay.
but certain lines of play can kind of get you around it. We play the Saheeli instead. Much less important for that card to stay on board.
Right.
We've got the Guided Strike here. So we're going to get +1/+0, draw a card. We're now attacking for 2.
2, but we're gonna increase that total here
Yeah, we're going to swing in,
shortly.
take it up to 3, draw another card. Put Saheeli down to 2, which stops it from being able to activate, puts it in shock range.
So we're gonna generate some mana. We're gonna look at this top card.
Leave it there. What do we tap the mana for?
Unknown. Here we go. So interesting that this feather deck was like a fringe deck before M20,
Yes.
and now it's very much in the
So
mainstream.
it
Even good.
wasn't a fringe deck. It was on the cusp.
It was a cusp deck.
It was a cusp deck. So a fringe deck is on like the fringe of the meta. This deck was on the fringe of like tier 1.
Okay. So we'll call it a seam deck.
A seam deck, perfect. Yeah. So the addition of just a couple key cards is all it really needed. The temples helped immensely.
Mm-hmm.
The God's Willing helps immensely.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, you end up with this deck, which is now very strong.
Yeah, saw one in the top 8 of a Grand Prix this weekend. Hunter Cochran piloting a Boros Feather to a 6th place finish.
That's pretty strong.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. All right, so we've got shock mana up.
Teferi's shocked.
And now we could run on the feather, but there's not really a good reason to. I would probably play this before the shock.
Okay. What are we doing here? Is he doing it?
Yeah, we're shocking it before combat.
There you go.
So I don't know why we didn't shock the Sahili last turn.
Yeah, it changes the board position because then you can.
Like he tapped the mana. I think maybe he intended to. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so if he shocks the Sahili last turn, kills it the whole way, then you get to he doesn't have the servo there,
Right.
and your war boss kills the Teferi.
Absolutely.
Unless he has the shock, in which case you're like, oh, I guess you got the shock.
Yeah. He was representing shock from the very beginning, so pretty much assumed that he had it. Here's the dragon. This dragon's going to be difficult for Erik to beat without a Reckless Rage. But once he gets one, it's off to the races.
Game on.
Another Adonto Vanguard, it looks like, was the draw. That card is so bad in this deck.
Yeah? Let's see if it was in this top 8 deck. I'm going to click this link. Sure was.
Yeah. It's so you need another 2-drop, and it's just like the best available, kind of. It's the best card in your deck against Kaya's Wrath decks, but that deck just doesn't, like, there's not a lot of those decks right now.
Right.
So we've got red. No, that can't be right. There you go.
There you go. White, red. Here's Feather. Here's a
Shaka
shock.
Sarkin.
Trigger.
All right, so we got Feather on the battlefield.
And a turn trigger, right?
No. It's got to target a creature that you control.
Oh, okay. My bad.
That's why this deck doesn't really survive rotation, although the Naya Featherless likely will. You just get to Dome Raise Ambush every turn. Swinging with the dragon. So, if you give Erik infinite time to set up, he's going to beat you. You do have to present a clock against this Boros Feather deck because it's going to just cascade value until you're out of the game. And there's not a lot that you can do about it short of getting rid of the Feather.
Yeah, which if he untaps here, you can almost, if you're Luke, you almost have to assume he's going to protect the Feather if he untaps here.
Yeah, absolutely. Although you assume that if he had it, he would have probably not shocked your Sarkin.
Right.
Do we draw to Fairy? Nope. We have a Mu Yanling.
The Sky Dancer.
Dancing in the sky.
Feather now sucks. She's a 1/2.
1/4. It's -2, -0, right?
Oh yeah, she's a level 4 toughness.
Yeah.
All right, 1/4 it is. Doesn't fly.
Don't feel good about throwing.
Yeah, I think you just got to fill the board here with guys. Gentlemen, 2 Dreadhorde Arcanists. What I would play.
Dreadhorde Arcanist is great here. Oh, wow, not punished. You can block with 4 of these things.
Yeah. So Muyanling, -2, -0. Are we entering the actually phase?
Yeah, these cards are still a little bit new.
Alright, so here is the Legion War Boss, and here is a Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Send that goblin at Moo. Yeah, I think the issue with this match, rather this game, is that Erik has way underestimated Saheeli.
Correct. You can see the value these servos are providing in that they're really gumming up any kind of other attack other than Feather. And with Muyanling, Feather is neutered herself.
Can't tell what the last red card is in Luke's hand.
Um,
I assume it's a Chandra because it's a red planeswalker, but can't tell which one.
yeah.
If he's shocking here, it means it's probably the 6-mana one.
Here's 4.
Down to 10.
Is the 6-mana one even good?
No,
I've lost to it in limited,
I haven't.
so that what's it like? You do have a sick record in this limited format.
I have played against it like twice,
Yeah.
and both times they're just like, all right, plus it. And I'm just like, okay, well, kill you, I guess. Get that man a bird. Here it is.
Gains a life.
It's definitely a win condition that gets out of hand very quickly in limited. I don't know how it plays in standard, but I'd imagine not very well. It's pretty decent here, though.
Yeah, I don't know what Luke's waiting for here with the Deafening Clarion. I guess he was going to... Yeah, multiple 4/4s that he wanted to lifelink. But there's your Planeswalker deck.
There you go.
Walk on the plains.
Yeah, I think it's a decent match for Erik, all things considered. Like, his deck lines up really well against Teferi. You want a Adonto Vanguard out of your deck right now.
Take it out.
Take it out. And he had multiples of his worst cards there, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's standard is that, like, even a good matchup, you can draw poorly. No good matchups, more than 60%.
Yeah. Historically, I remember playing against Mono Red with Nexus. Every single game, I would draw multiples of fairies. I'm like, I really don't want these.
Right.
There are multiple games against Mono Red, so the games don't last very long, where I didn't have to look through my deck for the cards I was going to take out. I was just like, oh, they're still in my hand. I'll just set these aside.
How much secrecy do you engage in when sideboarding?
Almost zero.
Yeah,
Like,
agreed.
so if they know what I'm playing and they know like a standard sideboard plan, then it just doesn't matter.
Right.
Like if I have secret tech, then sure, but
yeah. So if they know the standard sideboard plan, then it doesn't matter. And then if they don't know the standard sideboard plan, they're probably not prepared enough that it matters.
right.
So it's like, okay. Yeah, I don't make it like obvious, like, okay, 6 cards, but like, I don't try and hide it. I definitely count my sideboard afterwards, figure out what's in and out, make sure everything's correct and solidified. It's important, right?
Yeah. So against a matchup like that I was just referencing, like everybody knows that the 5-mana Teferi is not very good against Mono Red.
Sure.
So I'm just like, if it's in my graveyard, I'm just gonna very casually take it out and put it in my sideboard. I don't think you need to be coy about it.
No?
Nope.
All right, I'll stop being coy.
Plus, especially in like locals,
Yeah.
like here, it actually benefits you significantly if your opponents are better. So just like sideboard 6 out, sideboard 6 in, like you don't have to face up it. But if they're on the same level that you are, then like you can both get to the next level together.
Okay.
That's how you grow. That's some old fighting game wisdom right there.
Interesting. I knew you were full of those little nuggets.
Oh, I'm full of nuggets. Not as full as I was earlier today.
There you go.
Ayo!
Go.
Boros Feather. Let's get it. We've replaced Dether with Feather. I'm happy about it.
Oh, I'm glad.
So you brought up Boros Feather top 8 this GP.
Did top 8 this GP.
Not the story of the GP, though.
No, there's a much bigger story of this GP. There's a few players that you discuss when you're talking about the greats, and Luis Scott Vargas is definitely in any discussion.
Who?
Luis Scott Vargas?
Are you sure you're saying that right?
LSV?
Never heard of the guy.
Never heard of the guy. Let me tell you, he is a Hall of Fame Edge of the Gathering player.
Oh, wow.
He once played an entire Pro Tour without losing a match.
Yeah. It's impressive.
It hasn't been done since.
Was that a Pro Tour or a Grand Prix?
It was a Pro Tour.
He was playing Elf Ball, right?
It was Pro Tour Elves. When everybody had the Elf deck.
Yeah.
And then his team just like leveled people on the Elf deck. So yeah, I mean that's a sick accomplishment.
Oh yeah.
Even if you have the deck of the tournament, to be able to play it 18 matches in a row over the course of 2 days is just 3 days. I'm sorry, it's unreal.
Absolutely unreal.
Yeah,
guy's crazy.
Guy's crazy.
Never heard of him, but he's crazy.
No, he. Sorry about that. I had an itch. Attacked me all at once. He's also known to play any format of Magic. Like, if it involves Magic the Gathering cards, he will play it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
The format he chose to play this time was Mono Scape Shift Constructed.
Standard. So, his creatures looked like this. He had 4 Arboreal Grazer.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you're familiar with John Douglas's opinion on Arboreal Grazer.
In the Nexus deck, awful.
In the Bant Scapeshift deck.
Bant Scapeshift deck, solid.
You're going to have to help me out on why that is.
So the Bant Scapeshift deck plays way more lands.
Mm-hmm.
So the likelihood that an Arboreal Grazer off the top of your library gets you a land in play is much higher.
Okay.
That's really the crux of it. You're playing a Scapeshift deck, so you're just racing to 7 lands. With Nexus, like, you need to affect the board, you need to set up your draws. There's just a lot more involved with playing that deck.
Okay. He then stocked up on 4 Elvish Rejuvenators.
Solid.
He's got 4 Hydroid Crassus, Big Daddy Crassy.
Big Daddy Crassy.
4 Time Ravelers, Fairy Time Raveler, 3 mana 1.
Yeah. That's how the deck works.
2 Prison Realm, 4 Growth Spiral, 4 Circuitous Root, 2 Grow from the Ashes, and 4 Scape Shift. So he was mono, like, get lands into play.
Yeah.
Like, every turn he could, he wanted to play a land. And then play additional lands.
Yes.
This all led up to 4 Field of the Dead.
Yes, sir.
And 24 other lands, none of which he had 4 of. 2 Forests, 2 Island, a Plains, a Azorius Guildgate, a Blast Zone, a Blossoming Sands.
Double shock on the Dreadhorde. Sorry to interrupt. That's a big play.
Oh, that is a big play. That's a back to the wall kind of play.
Yeah.
I can't let him untap with this thing or I am out of luck.
Oh man, and he just has the feather.
Yeah, just the feather to
Jeez.
really slice the cake.
Cake sliced.
Man, I like that terminology. I'm going to use that one. That's an ESPN moment right there.
I don't know about that.
You don't think?
I don't think.
We can't, like, when the player has, like, the haymaker, it's just like, well, this is really going to slice the cake.
Yeah, I'm not on board.
All right, well, I'm going to keep making...
Yeah, you keep doing it.
I'm going to keep making fetch happen.
You live your best life, man.
Before you know it, one of the big-time commentators will go, whew, boy, that card really sliced the cake in this matchup.
I hope they do.
I would love it. You want to talk about feeling like I made it. I would feel like it alive again. I'd feel like a man.
Well, this game has gotten out of hand for Luke.
Yeah. Because of the feather.
I'm going to take 8 here.
You're going to take 8 here.
And there's the shot.
Shock you.
Well, there you go.
He's got a singular Field of Ruin.
Yeah, he does.
Two hollowed fountains, Hinterland Harbor, Memorial to Genius, Selesnya Guildgate, Simic Guildgate, Sun Petal Grove. 2 Temple of Mystery, 2 Temple Gardens. A Thornwood Falls and a Tranquil Cove. So, lots of variety in the lands, so that when he casts Scape Shift, he can trigger the heck out of this Field of Ruin.
Yeah, just get the full 8 guys at instant speed thanks to Teferi.
Yep.
Protects the combo, end of turn, get you.
Get you good.
Yeah, there were a couple people here week 1 playing Scape Shift just in Simic colors.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're going to want white for that Teferi.
You're going to want El Blancos.
You're going to want that 3-man Teferi. Nobody wants to admit that they want the Teferi.
No?
But they do.
So LSV was not the only person in the top 8 with this deck. There's 2, 3, 4 more copies.
Yep.
In the top 8.
And that's the story.
So this deck is
5 Scape Shift decks in the top 8 of a standard Grand Prix.
And this looks almost identical. As I look through the various iterations.
It was a known entity going into the weekend.
Yeah?
But it was not a respected entity going into the weekend.
Well,
not enough Thorn Lieutenants out there.
No.
Yeah. You definitely want your Thorn Lieutenants in standard still. Hope you didn't sell those.
No, I still got them.
All of your anti 3-mana Teferi tech still very relevant. Still probably the best card in standard. So don't let it go anywhere.
Don't sleep on Thorn Lieutenant.
Thorn Lieutenant's not the best card in standard 3-mana Teferi is.
Yeah, this is another topic I wanted to explore with you.
Explore it.
Are you sure you're not going to push it off until a later date?
Tell me what it is, and then I'll let you know.
See? Okay. I wanted to see what you thought the...
Let's table that one.
All right, tabled.
You didn't say what you wanted to talk about,
I
man.
wanted to see what you...
What's Luke doing? He's just shuffling. He's laid way back there, leaning way back.
Chilling like a villain. I wanted to see what you thought the pillars of the standard format were.
The pillars of the standard format.
So I think one of them
this
is
standard
Teferi.
format right
Yeah,
now?
the standard format we're enjoying tonight here.
Okay.
So Teferi Time Raveler is definitely one of them.
Yes.
And so identifying what these cards are is not the end game, right?
No.
The end game is to figure out why they are what they are.
Yeah.
That's how you know how to build a standard deck.
So it's definitely Teferi Time Raveler, Nissa, who shakes the world.
Okay.
Because she's dummy thick.
Oh, bother.
Oh, bother. And probably Llanowar Elf. And Llanowar Elf. There you go. There's your 3.
All right. That's interesting because Llanowar Elf and Nissa show up in the same list a lot of the time.
Yeah,
They're buddies.
kind of. Like, if you're playing green, there's no reason not to play Llanowar Elf. But if you're playing green, there's kind of a reason not to play Nissa, but you really shouldn't. So, like, Llanowar Elf also enables, like, playing 3 and 4 drops.
Yeah.
Nissa enables Hydroid Crisis and Mass Manipulation,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah, Nissa lets you build a deck that gets you out the haymakers. It's the haymaker deck.
Yeah.
Llanowar Elf is really the reason an aggro deck can exist. Without Llanowar Elf, any aggro deck couldn't get under Teferi.
I don't agree with that.
Well, red decks would be the only ones that could get under Teferi.
I don't think Llanowar Elf's good against Fairy. I don't think Llanowar Elf's particularly good right now.
All right, I think Llanowar Elf is fantastic.
Okay. You're allowed to think that.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome. I want to value my 2-drops very highly in this format. I think there's a lot of really good 2-drops.
Okay.
And playing Llanowar Elf doesn't mean you can't play 2-drops, but you don't get to take full advantage of the Llanowar Elves unless you're playing more 3-drops.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes decks less consistent and less able to deal with the major threats like Teferi and Nissa. Who are both big deals.
Right.
Here's a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Not a pillar of a format, but very good.
Concur.
But yeah, I think you want your Thorn Lieutenants. I think you want your can never remember the Legion War Boss. Like, you want cards that interact very favorably with 3-mana Teferi, so they can't just get you on the tempo game.
Yep.
And then force them to play more of a control game, which most decks aren't suited to do at the moment.
Here's a Prison Realm. Gideon to follow up.
Oh, Gids. Gids in the plus. Yeah, I've been up and down on Gideon in this deck. There are times where it just feels like pretty lackluster, and there's times like last game where it just completely runs away with the game.
Yeah, I think anything that met his power toughness stats at his casting cost would run away with the game, but
So it's really good against Teferi as well, because it's only a Planeswalker on your turn, and Teferi can't bounce Planeswalkers.
right.
Here's Feather. Here's a plus.
Yep.
So we've got 1 shock. Man, if you try to double spell this Feather and you get blown out, you might as well just scoop him up.
Yeah, you're too far behind at that point. I guess you could Teferi and shoot for it, right?
Yeah, Teferi's fine. It still gets kind of blown out by God's Willing.
Right. You're not going to get to draw the card. And you're going to be... It's going to be forced to attack the Teferi.
Yeah, I don't like this. That's greedy.
There's a Lightning Strike, followed by a Shock with the...
Yeah, just untap, Eric. You're so far ahead there. So you don't get a draw card.
Yeah, there's going to be no draw. I don't even think he gets the card back, right? Because Teferi's not there for the replacement? What?
Feather.
Or Feather?
So I think Feather's a replacement on cast, not on resolution.
Whenever you cast. Yeah. Exile that card instead of putting your graveyard. Oh, as it resolves. So the spell will not resolve. So he doesn't get that card back either.
You sure about that one?
I'd bet my lunch money on it.
How much lunch money you got?
About $8. Here's Feather again. That one's really going to slice the cake because Luke is out of lands.
Stop.
No, it's happening.
Here's its fairy.
Those of you out there,
Go on, tell them. Go tell it on the mountain, everybody.
yeah, we'll I'm gonna get see if I can get
T-shirts made.
Scott. What? No, the slice the cake T-shirts.
Yeah, go all the way,
Maybe.
man.
No, well,
Go all the way.
maybe I might. But I'm wondering if we can get Scott back here to ask him about this ruling in between rounds if he has a second. He's got a lot of other responsibilities in this world.
We could just go ask him and report back.
Yeah, that's a great question too. Maybe after the game here, once we figure out a winner.
He shouldn't draw off the white instant. I don't think he did.
Maybe we'll have to watch it, but yeah. All right, here's a shock on the Teferi. It's kind of useless here. I would have just saved it to go to the dome. You've got another Feather.
Well, you want to be able to do stuff on his turn, so you generate a lot of value with this deck.
Yeah. Here's a 6th land.